In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister chairs conference with state-owned enterprises and small and medium-sized enterprises. Vietnam, New Zealand promoting relations to new height. Later on in our news, Russia ready to resume arms control talks with United States.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. On Thursday at the Government Standing Committee conference, Prime Minister Phie urged state-owned enterprises to harness patriotism, embrace ambitions, and think strategically. He set a target of at least 8% growth this year and aimed for a double-digit expansion in the future. The Prime Minister emphasized adaptability and efficiencies, highlighting their crucial role in propelling Vietnam into a new era of development.
State-owned enterprises hold nearly 160 billion USD in assets, contribute 20.5% of total enterprise capital, and pay 14.64 billion USDs to the state budget. However, contributions remain uneven and concentrated in a few large firms. Prime Minister Phie highlighted the need for faster, more flexible, and efficient operations to drive economic growth. He outlined 6 pioneering roles for these enterprises, urging them to adapt quickly, optimize capital, and boost national development.
State-owned enterprises must take the lead in innovation, digital transformation, and the application of science and technology, aligned with Resolution 57 of the Politburo. You must take responsibility for contributing to social security, ensuring that no one is left behind. At the same time, Vietnamese businesses must build strong national brands, integrate deeper into global value chains, and enhance the value of made-in-Vietnam products.
The Prime Minister emphasized that for the country to grow by at least 8%, businesses must achieve equal or higher growth, assigning Deputy Prime Minister Ho Duc Phoc to finalize business growth targets by March 15. Prime Minister Phie also chaired a meeting with small and medium enterprises, highlighting their critical economic role. They make up nearly 98% of Vietnam's 940,000 businesses. The Prime Minister praised their efforts and urged them to take bold, focused actions to help Vietnam reach at least 8% growth in 2025.
First and foremost, we must actively implement the party's guidelines, focusing on developing a digital and green economy. Businesses must embrace the national spirit, be self-reliant, strive forward, and break through their limits. We must adapt to the evolving market economy, unlock the country's full potential, strengthen international cooperation, attract foreign investment, and integrate deeper into the global value chain.
The Prime Minister outlined 9 key tasks for the government and ministries to support SMEs. He called for a new central resolution on private enterprises, institutionalizing and effectively implementing policies to foster their growth. 3 strategic breakthroughs in institutions, infrastructure, and human resources must be accelerated alongside decentralization to eliminate obstacles and reduce business costs. The Prime Minister emphasized stable interest rates, urging banks to cut costs and accept lower profits to support businesses.
New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and Vietnamese Prime Minister Phie visited the Temple of Literature in Hanoi on Thursday. During the visit, the two leaders explored the historical site. They enjoyed a Quan Họ performance, a traditional folk singing styles of the Red River Delta, which UNESCO recognized as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Prime Minister Phie shared with Prime Minister Luxon the rich history of the Temple of Literature, Vietnam's first university established nearly 1,000 years ago. He highlighted Vietnam's deep-rooted traditions of valuing education and respecting teachers. The Prime Minister said the Vietnamese Party and state prioritize education and training as the national policies, ensuring the country remain committed to fostering knowledge and talent development for the future generations. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn met with New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, who is on an official visit to Vietnam and attending the ASEAN Future Forum. The National Assembly Chairman praised the close cooperation between the two parliaments and reaffirmed Vietnam's support for bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister Luxon reiterated New Zealand's commitment to help Vietnam enhance the quality of agricultural products for export, implement climate change response projects, and improve English proficiencies among key Vietnamese officials. He also encouraged major New Zealand university to strengthen partnership with Vietnamese partners to help Vietnam develop high-quality human resources. Vietnam and New Zealand issued a joint statement on its new upgraded bilateral comprehensive strategic partnership status during New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon's official visit to Vietnam from February 25th to 28th. Under this new comprehensive strategic partnership, bilateral ties will see 5 key enhancements: stronger and more strategic political trust, more substantive cooperation in defense and security, closer and more effective economic, trade and investment collaboration, increased science, technology and climate change cooperation as a new pillar of bilateral relations, and deeper people-to-people linked through enhanced cooperation in human resources development, labor and tourism. Within the framework of the official visit to Vietnam and attendance at the 2nd ASEAN Future Forum by New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, the two countries signed a joint statement on upgrading Vietnam-New Zealand relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership and to understand more about the shared journey of both countries as well as prospect for future cooperation. We had an interview with Prime Minister Christopher Luxon. Well, thank you for joining our interview. As we know, our 2025 marked 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between two countries, and just yesterday we upgraded to comprehensive strategic partnership. It has been a long journey for both countries. So how would you access key achievement in bilateral relations over the years, and why is it the right time to upgrade the relationship?
Well, firstly, Xin Chao, it's great to be with you. Can I say thank you very much for the chance to talk with you. Look, it's a really special relationship, New Zealand and Vietnam. It's been going for 50 years, and it really started with students going to New Zealand under the Colombo Plan. And from there, the people-to-people connections have been built, and what we have achieved in 50 years is fantastic. Our two-way trade between our countries grew 40% in the last 5 years. But now is the right time for us to upgrade to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And Prime Minister Ching was the very first foreign leader that I invited to New Zealand when I became Prime Minister just over a year ago. And that's because I see that there is so much potential and values that we are aligned around that we can continue to deepen and build out our relationship. So we have lots of capability to actually to offer Vietnam as Vietnam makes the transition from into middle income and ultimately into high income by 2045. So it's just, Vietnam's an exciting country. It's going to be an even more influential country, a wealthier country, and a country that's much more embedded in everyone's supply chains in the next 10 years. And so that's why it's a pretty cool time to be doing it.
The leaders of both sides have agreed to increase bilateral trade turnover to $3 billion by 2026. And with the current potential, which area should the two countries focus on to achieve this goal?
In education, there is a real opportunity. I mean, New Zealand has 8 universities. They're in the top 2% of the universities in the world. We have already a large number of Vietnamese students, but they do very, very well in New Zealand. I think tourism is a good opportunity, and it's great that Vietjet is going to be offering services. That means it's the first Vietnamese airline to fly directly to New Zealand, and that just means that the people-to-people connections can happen more and more. As we have a huge number of New Zealanders, young New Zealanders who want to come and travel throughout Vietnam. It's one of the most popular destinations for young New Zealanders, and it's growing really quickly.
How do you evaluate Vietnam economic growth as well as its role and position in current global trade activities?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Vietnam's been the most fastest growing economy in Southeast Asia for the last 25 years. I think you've averaged 5 to 6% growth every single year. That is 2, sometimes even 3 times more than what developed countries are experiencing. But the fact that you've been able to do it year in, year out is just so impressive. And that's why, no doubt about it, you are the rising star within the region. But importantly, if you look forward, your leaders want to even step up more of that ambition, and the reports are that the economy will continue to grow at 7% a year for the next few years.
As one of the 3 leaders participating in the ASEAN Future Forum 2025, could you share your views on Vietnam's roles and position within regional and global frameworks?
What's important is that if you fast forward even 10 years from now, Vietnam's going to be a much wealthier country. It's going to be also a much more influential country, and it will also be very embedded into everybody's supply chain and a much higher value. And so, Vietnam has a very important role to play within ASEAN. Of course, ASEAN as an economy will probably be the 4th biggest economy in the world in a very short period of time. So it's got an increasing role to play, and within that, Vietnam has a very important role to play.
Well, thank you, Prime Minister, for joining our interview today. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn presided at a conference in Hanoi on Thursday to announce the establishment of 11 National Assembly Party Committee organizations. He stressed the need for a smooth transition, ensuring continuity in responsibilities without gaps or delays. Highlighting conclusions 126 issued by the Politburo, he called for full preparation ahead of the Central Committee decisions, especially regarding legal reform, streamlining the organizational structure. Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn also directed party committees to enhance leadership, modernize legislative processes, improve supervisions, and support digital transformation, green development, and high-tech innovation to build a digital National Assembly. With total social consumption accounting for over 60% of GDP, stimulating domestic demand is crucial to achieving this year's 8% growth target. While export and public investment show positive momentum, household spending remains sluggish. Businesses and policymakers seek effective solutions to drive consumption while balancing income growth and savings.
More and more travelers prefer exploring regional destinations and only book complex tours requiring expert guidance. To keep up with demand, travel companies are constantly designing new itineraries to sustain growth. Along with adapting their services, businesses are also calling for stronger incentive policies to boost domestic tourism.
Tax policies, VAT reductions, and attractive pricing at state-managed tourist sites are key factors in stimulating domestic tourism demand.
Statistics show that domestic demand remains sluggish, with retail sales growing just 6% over the past 2 years. Many households continue to tighten spending, prioritizing savings. In response, industries like garment manufacturing are adapting, focusing on minimalist daily wear and digitizing design to boost productivity and cut costs. Businesses now call for greater market transparency to drive growth.
We hope for stricter market regulations to prevent the unauthorized use of brand names on e-commerce platforms and protect both businesses and consumers.
Along with efforts to boost income and savings, stimulating consumer demand requires additional measures.
From a policy perspective, it may be necessary to accelerate the revision of the personal income tax law and increase the family deduction threshold to allow people more savings.
In the face of weak domestic demand, stimulus and growth policy packages should be designed for immediate impact, while carefully managing inflation risks.
Coming up next on VTV News, Doctors' initiative empowers patients to battle cancer. And culinary tours highlight Vietnam tourism. To mark the 70th anniversary of Vietnam's Doctors' Day, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn visited the Friendship Hospital on the Thursday to congratulate the staff. He commended the hospital's progress and called for more widespread and effective implementation of three key healthcare laws passed by the National Assembly: the revised law on medical examination and treatment, the amended law on pharmacies, and the revised health insurance law. He emphasized the importance of investing in infrastructure and improving healthcare service quality. The National Assembly has also approved resolutions to pilot policies promoting breakthroughs in science, technology, and national digital transformation. During his visit, Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn awarded the title of Outstanding Doctors to several physicians at the hospitals. Cancers may evoke fear in many people. However, amidst pain and challenges, optimism still prevails in a hospital in Nghệ An province. Patients receive dedicated care from doctors and nurses and enjoy free haircuts and shampoos every week. These simple actions bring joy and comfort and strengthen resilient patients in their fight against illness.
Chào các Di. Các Di ơi, đến giờ ta đi gội đầu cắt tóc rồi.
Every Tuesday, the doctors and nurses here give the patients haircuts and offer encouragement.
Ăn cho nhiều ông nha. Dạ. Thầy cả ông đi về mà thầy càng ngày càng béo càng khỏe là nhà cháu mừng cái nào.
I'm so excited and happy. At first, I couldn't sleep or eat, but now I'm back to normal and not worried at all. Everyone's been so supportive.
Cancer patients can also obtain wigs from a zero-dong shop at the hospital and have them adjusted to suit them by a hairstylist.
I'm very happy to get the wig. I've been getting treatment here for 3 years, and thanks to the doctors' dedicated care, I'm feeling so much better.
These free care activities are the initiatives of Dr. Nguyễn Văn Hướng. He has spent 8 years calling for community support for cancer patients in overcoming adversity through various means, from financial aid to material donations and even services that support the patient's mental well-being.
8 years ago, my father got cancer. Seeing the family struggle at the hospital while taking care of my father, I wanted to help. So I applied for a transfer to this hospital in 2017 and took charge of social services.
In our province, long-distance treatment is very difficult for patients, especially those in remote areas. This financial and emotional support helps to ensure their stability throughout the process.
Benefits like free wigs, haircuts, and shampoos have helped improve cancer patients' mental well-being. The love and enthusiasm of the doctors and nurses further empower the patients to battle their illnesses.
Receiving a delegation from the International Organizing Committee of the United Nations VTV celebration led by Most Venerable Professor and Dr. Prabrahma Pundi, Standing Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Hòa Bình affirmed that Vietnam Buddhist Sangha has consistently made positive contributions to global Buddhist activities. Highly appreciating the theme of the 2025 United Nations VTV celebration, he stated that all preparations have been completed, including the collaboration with the International Organizing Committee of the United Nations VTV celebration. The event hosted by the Vietnam Buddhist Shanghai will take place from May 6th to 8th this year in Ho Chi Minh City. Besides natural beauty, rich culture, and friendly people, Vietnam's cuisine is a key highlight driving tourism growth. It also attracts foreign visitors, prioritizing culinary tourism in Vietnam's tourism development strategy to 2030, which aims to enhance the country's competitive edge and brand.
Vietnamese cuisine is more competitive than other countries in the region that are strong in food tours, such as Thailand, which is gradually becoming a popular destination, and Singapore, where the cost is double Vietnam's.
Koreans love traveling to Vietnam due to its proximity, short flight time, and favorable visa policies. Additionally, Vietnam offers a wide range of accommodations, from budget to luxury, and a diverse cuisine that is highly popular among Korean tourists.
Flavors of Vietnam is Abercrombie & Kent's latest luxury travel offering, launched in Q4 2024 for American travelers. This 8-day culinary tour, priced from $6,995 USD per person, is limited to 18 guests per tour.
Abercrombie & Kent is a global tour operator. We're operating in nearly 75 countries around the world. The company's been operating for 60+ years. And actually, we've been operating here in Vietnam. We've been sending customers here since the mid-90s. So we have a long history with Vietnam, and it's one of our favorite destinations worldwide.
The tour, which starts in Hanoi and ends in Ho Chi Minh City, with a stop at Ha Long Bay, allows visitors to compare Vietnam's two major cities.
The feedback has been really, really good. Our guests have commented that they love the food. They loved not only the luxury food in the Michelin-starred restaurants. We love for our guests to try bún chả, chả cá lá vong.
Despite its potential, street food development remains scattered and ad hoc, while food hygiene and safety pose significant challenges. The culinary tourism workforce is also insufficient, with many unskilled, seasonal, and untrained staff. To achieve sustainable growth, a comprehensive and effective approach is needed.
Ramuan Tet is a period when Cham communities gather for 3 days of rituals honoring their ancestors. The celebration includes restoring temples, visiting ancestral graves, and praying for prosperity and peace. More than just a religious tradition, Ramuan Tet strengthens cultures and family bonds. At the heart of these connections are the unmarked stones in Cham burial site, each carrying profound meaning.
This is one of the oldest cemeteries of the Cham Bani followers in Ninh Thuan province. As soon as the sun rises, many people gather here to visit these time-worn stones and clear the grass around them, ensuring everything is neat and clean. Offerings, including betel and areca, are carefully prepared. Then comes a sacred ritual, inviting their ancestors home for Ramuan Tet.
The stones symbolize our homes in the afterlife, 2 stones for the head and foot.
Each departed soul is marked by 2 stones. Over time, the Cham Bani and Islamic cemeteries have become long rows of weathered stones, a silent yet powerful reminder of community heritage.
We must remember, these stones are our ancestors. We must come and invite them home for Tet, no matter what.
Over generations, their identities fade into obscurity. Yet one thing remains certain: they are ancestors, honored and remembered by the entire village. The ritual of inviting them home for Ramuan Tet is therefore not performed by individual families, but by entire clans.
These rows of stones represent the entire lineage of Cham Bani families. When they pass, they become ancestors, no longer distinguished by gender or age. During remembrance, all are invited back together.
Ramuan Tet is a time to return home and stand beside the sacred stones that mark the resting places of Cham people's ancestors. It is a journey back to their roots, and these silent stones, steeped in mystery and history, continue to bind the Cham community together.
Coming up next in our World News, Russia ready to resume arms control talks with the United States. And U.S. President proposes a $5 million gold card as route to U.S. citizenship. Russia advocates for a resumed dialogue on multilateral disarmament and arms control agreements, including a new strategic arms reduction treaty on New START with the United States. The Russian Deputy Foreign Minister made this statement in the context of Russian and U.S. official meeting in Turkey on Thursday to discuss resolving bilateral relations. On the sidelines of the United Nations Human Rights Council meetings, the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister stressed that Russia supports the renewal of such strategic agreements. This requires a thorough and systematic effort. In addition, it demands a constructive attitude from partners based on mutual respect and recognition of each other's interests to ensure strategic stability. The Russia-U.S. New START treaty expired on February 5th next year, and Moscow and Washington have not yet discussed the future of strategic arms control. U.S. President Donald Trump held his first cabinet meeting on Wednesday. During it, he and his cabinet members spent considerable time answering queries about the Golden Card visa program that has been attracting public attention. More to follow.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday said his proposed $5 million gold card visa would help the country pay down its debt while offering leading companies a way to attract top immigrant workers.
They want to hire the #1 student at a school. A person comes from India, China, Japan, lots of different places, and they go to Harvard, the Wharton School of Finance, they go to Yale, they go to all great schools, and they graduate #1 in their class, and they're made job offers, but the offer is immediately rescinded because you have no idea whether or not that person can stay in the country. I want to be able to have that person stay in the country. These companies can go and buy a gold card, and they can use it as a matter of recruitment. At the same time, the company is using that money to pay down debt. We're going to pay down a lot of debt with that.
Since 1990, the U.S. Congress has operated the EB-5 visa program, the Green Card, to stimulate the U.S. economy through job creation and capital investment by foreign investors. Accordingly, those who invest $1 million in a business with at least 10 employees will be granted this type of visa. However, under the new plan, Trump plans to replace the existing EB-5 visa program with the Gold Card visa. This visa will require an investment of $5 million in exchange for permanent legal residency and the opportunity to become a U.S. citizen. Trump said the country would start selling the visa in about 2 weeks.
China has built a super lab to explore the frontiers of materials science. The lab will allow scientists to explore the mysteries of matters and uncover new phenomena or law that cannot be observed under normal conditions. The super lab passed the National Acceptance Review on Wednesday and is expected to significantly enhance China's comprehensive capability in material science and related fields. And now let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch the program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.